So there are two problems, as I see it, with AI, maybe three. Number one is that actually we don't distinguish very well at the moment what is and actually isn't AI. So AI and tech, although they are obviously related to each other, are not the same thing. And it's important that when we're talking about AI that we do distinguish properly. There is a need, I think, to regulate a lot of tech, much better than we currently do. But AI poses very specific problems. And the first one, and I can see there are people from Control AI in the audience today, is the fact that we don't actually really fully understand these models at the moment. And that really worries any sort of sensible thinking person, that we are unleashing technologies which appear to be able to self-replicate and do other things, and we are incorporating them into military hardware without a full understanding of how they work. And anyone, you don't have to be a sort of terrible catastrophist or conspiracy theorist. I am generally, in fact, really a very optimistic person. But I think it's important to be optimistic from a basis of understanding the technology that you're using and then regulating it appropriately. That doesn't mean stifling innovation, but it does mean making sure that you know what you are doing fundamentally. And when I look at AI, we have, as I said, two problems. One is rubbish in, rubbish out. And there is a lot of rubbish going into AI at the moment. And you can see that in all sorts of really terrible situations. So we have a huge amount of inbuilt gender bias within our society as it stands. And that means that, for instance, if you ask for AI to generate you a picture of a female solicitor, as I am, you will get a picture back out. There's a woman who is barely clothed, but has a library of books behind her. Now, that's not how female solicitors that I know go to work. But that is kind of what AI thinks we are. And that has some really important real-world impacts. So if you ask AI to suggest you an hourly rate as a freelancer, it is on average suggesting significantly lower rates for women than it is for men. There is some real questions about algorithmic bias absolutely permeating the whole of this algorithm. And LinkedIn has, certainly some questions have been raised recently. I and a lot of women I know are finding that we've got significantly less interaction via LinkedIn than we used to. But various women have now changed their gender on their bios to male and suddenly find that their engagement levels rock straight back up. LinkedIn appears to think that we're not interesting and people won't want to read our content, so it is stopping showing female content at the same rate, it would appear. I caveat that. I have not been able to speak to LinkedIn directly, but certainly a lot of women I know are reporting these problems. So when we put in biased stuff to start with, and when huge amounts of particularly the image training data is based on what's publicly available on the internet, well, the image training data of women on the internet is largely pornographic. And that is absolutely influencing what's coming back out the other end of these models. And when we look at that in terms of children, then we have real problems. Nudification apps are huge and they need to be dealt with. I'd like to get into how I'm worried about this dealing with health, how we don't have good enough training data on the interaction between gender and health and various other matters. I'm going to stop, but I'd like to thank everyone for their time today, and I know that many of my colleagues will pick up important points.
Yeah.